Hello, welcome to my channel Devops with Prasanna. This is day 5 in Learn AWS in 30 Days series. Today is a demo day and we are going to see all the AWS services which we saw till now, and we'll see how to utilize it in a better way. We will follow best practice. So this is a website which we are going to deploy into our AWS ecosystem. So this will have static asset. This will have proper certificates. It will have a proper subdomain, and then it will be deployed to private EC2 instance. So these are the concepts which we are going to see today. Yeah. And yeah, before going into the demo, I just want to make I have one request. So this is my YouTube channel and this is the watch time from subscribers. So you can see most of the watch time is from unsubscribed users. So if you find this channel to be very useful, if it if you are learning something good with in the AWS, please consider subscribing to my channel. Yeah, so now we'll get into the demo part. Cool. So this is the demoblog.superstats.co. This is a domain which we are going to configure in Route 53. And this Route 53 is going to point traffic to our own VPC. So we are going to create a new VPC from scratch. This will forward the traffic to load balancer, which is available in public subnet. And this load balancer will route traffic to a web server, which is there in a private subnet. And web server is going to talk to internet using NAT gateway, and the public subnet is going to talk to internet using internet gateway. And that is Bastion Host, which we will be using to configure the web server. So we'll talk about Bastion Host in few minutes. Okay, cool. So now we'll get into the demo. So first go to VPC. And then create a new VPC. So we are going to create VPC and more, which means all the subnets, all the internet gateway, NAT gateway, and everything we are going to create in one stretch. Give the name as Learn AWS blog. And give the CADR. So you would have understand the CADR now. If you want to check what is meant by CADR and things like that, I'll link the video here, which is I think day 3 video. You can go and watch that one. Cool. So we are giving the CADR notation as 10.1.0.0/16, which means first 16 bits are used for network and next 16 bits is used for host. And we are going to create one public subnet, one private subnet in 1A availability zone, and similarly one public subnet, one private subnet in 1B availability zone. It's going to have proper route tables also configured, and it's going to have internet gateway and VPC endpoint. But we are not going to use S3 buckets now. So this is, we don't want to create this one. We can create in the next session. So this looks cool. Number of AZs is 2. That's why you can see 2 AZs with public and private subnet. Number of private subnets is 2. NAT gateway. So if you enable this NAT gateway, it will incur charges. So this is something which you have to be very careful. If you don't want to incur any charge, please don't create VPC. So skip the VPC creation part and create the EC2 instance, the web server, directly in the public subnet. So you might miss out that security aspect, but you'll not incur any charges. If you create NAT gateway, you're going to incur charge. So that is something which you have to keep in your mind. And we don't want to create any VPC endpoint, enable DNS hostname, enable DNS resolution. And we are going to say create VPC. So it will create all the necessary components for us. It will take some time, and before it creates, we'll get back to our one theoretical aspect, which is Bastion Host. So we have a diagram like this, Bastion, and it's talking to EC2 instance. The catch here is this EC2 instance, it's not having any public IP address. It's going to have only the private IP address, which means this EC2 instance is accessible only within the VPC. So If we have a SSH client, that SSH client will be outside of the VPC. So we can't access the web server here. So our SSH client is outside of VPC. So we need to have some mission which will be inside the VPC, and it will have the public IP address also. So that's where this Bastion host is coming. So it is available in the public subnet, and it will be having a public IP. So we can talk to Bastion host, and from Bastion host we'll be doing SSH into the web server. So that is the concept. This type of server is called as jump server, because we are using that to jump into a EC2 instance. And even if we have lot of private subnets, lot of web servers and private subnet, we can use one Bastion host to connect to all the servers. And in the security group of this web server, we'll allow SSH only from this Bastion host. It will not be allowed from anywhere else. So that is one rule which we have to keep in our mind. Yeah, as I mentioned, like if you don't want to incur charges in creating this NAT gateway, please create this web server in public subnet itself, and don't create this Bastion host. You can have load balancer and web server both in the public subnet. Okay, so this looks cool. We'll see what happened to our resources. Okay. Yeah, so it got created. If I go to VPC, refresh it, you can see learn AWS log-VPC. So this is available 10.1.0.0. Cool. So which means we should see the subnets as well. So if I go to subnets, we have maybe what I'll do is copy the subnet parameters. Yeah, I'll copy this VPC ID. I'll put it here. So these are the four subnets which got created. Two is in two public subnet, two private subnet in two AZs. This is also cool. Now what we'll do is we'll go to EC2 instance and create EC2 instance accordingly. So yeah, so I'll create launch a Bastion host first. Bastion host. I'll use Ubuntu image this time. T2 micro is sufficient. I'll use the same key pair which I was using in the previous section. This time I'll go and edit the network configuration also. So I'll say instead of this, use learn AWS log VPC and create this Bastion host in public subnet. This is an important thing. Bastion host should be in public subnet. Then only we can assign the public IP address to access into the system. So enable auto assign public IP and create a new security group. The name of this group should be Bastion host ST. And I'll say SSH from anywhere is allowed. This is cool. So all the other things looks good. So I'll launch the instance. Now we'll create one more instance, which is yeah, it will come to running state. Yeah, we can launch one more instance now before it comes. So this is learn AWS log. So this is going to be our another server. This is also Ubuntu machine, and this is going to be T2 micro. We are going to select the key pair as Prasanna, and we are going to edit the network settings. We are going to say this should belong to this particular VPC, and the subnet should be a private subnet. So South 1A should be private 1A. It can be any AZ. That doesn't matter. But the catch here is it should be a private subnet, because the web server has to be in a secured way. Like there is no need for outside world to directly talk to the web server. All the traffic has to go via the load balancer. So that is the idea. We'll create a new security group, and the name of the security group is web server-st. So here we are going to allow SSH not from anywhere, Maybe yeah. What I'll do is I'll remove this group or a security group rule. I'll say SSH only from security group called Bastion Host ST. So this is a only security group uh, allowed to SSH into this machine. Okay. All the other things looks good. We'll launch this instance. If we go to instance, go to the first page, we can see the Bastion host, and we'll wait for some more time. So it'll the machine also will go into the running state. So this is cool. Now, according to this diagram, we created the VPC is done, subnets are done, machines are done. Okay. The NAT gateway and internet gateway, that is also done because it is coming along with the VPC creation script. So we created everything, all the things together. Now we have to set up the load balancer, but before that, like we'll use Bastion host and SSH into the web server. Yeah, so this machine is also up now. If I go to Bastion host, you can see we have a public IP v4 address. And if I go into the web server, you can see there is no public address, only private IP address is there. So if I want to SSH into the machine, we have used the Ubuntu machine. So I'm saying Ubuntu, and then I'm going to copy the IP address of Bastion host. Okay, so we could able to log into Bastion host. But the catch here is we don't have the prasanna.pem key file. This key file is needed to SSH into the web server also. So there is a protocol called SCP. So I'll do SCP secure copy using this key file called prasanna.pem, and I'll copy the file called as prasanna.pem from my local to the machine called as, and the IP address is this one, :/temp path. So the /temp is a path in this machine where you want to copy the file called as prasanna.pem. So this is a SCP command. So these are the basic utilities which you have to understand. Yeah, so the file is copied to the Bastion host now. If I do a SSH command again, okay, so I'm converting myself as a root user. If I do ls/temp, you can see along with all the other files, there is a file called as prasanna.pem, which is good. Now what I'll do is I'll SSH into the web server now. SSH-i. I have to use a pem file of Prasanna. So I'll temp/prasanna.pem and then use Ubuntu, and now you can give the private IP address of this machine. So if you go here, this is the private IPv4 address. So you can see previously the IP address 10.1.7.249, which is the IP address of Bastion host. Now the IP address is 10.1.140.186, which is the IP address of web server. I'll do sudo su. The first thing which I want to do is like apt update all the system libraries. But before doing that, I'll show the list of commands we have. So I've created a file in the GitHub repository. So you can use this file commands to run the to set up the web server for us. So I'll say apt update y, which will update all the packages. Then I'm going to install Node.js. Yeah, so the application which I showed you, it's a static file, but with slight complexity in it, which is like it's using Tailwind. So we have to install few packages and we have to do a build step. And then I'm installing npm Okay, let it install. I'll show you one more concept before we go into this demo. This is the like a very basic pipeline which we are going to have, the basic CI/CD pipeline which we are going to have now. This is to introduce you to the concept of CI/CD. Okay, so like as I mentioned, we have a very basic HTML application, but that involves like one simple step, which is to build the static assets. So that is the build step here. Once the build step is done, we are going to deploy that HTML file and then the static assets into Apache, and that is called as deploy. See, as I mentioned, like this is a very basic step. We are going to see in depth the concepts about CI/CD, but I want to get you thinking from that perspective. So whenever we make a change to this one, we are going to build the static assets. Once the static assets are built, we are going to do a deployment. So this is what we are going to see. Maybe like we can make one slight change and we see how things should be like deployed. Cool. Yeah, now we have things set up. If I say node version, node hyphen version, it is 12.22. But we need at least node version 20. So what we'll do is we'll use something called as NVM, which is Node Version Manager. And using this NVM, we could able to set up multiple versions of Node.js in one machine. I'll show you how. So this got set up. We have to reload the shell. Instead of reloading the shell or restarting the shell, we'll simply say source bash rc. Bash is a shell interpreter we are using. We are just refreshing that interpreter. Okay. Now the command which is available for us is NVM. NVM stands for Node Version Manager. We'll say list remote. So this will list all the versions available for us. So you can see v20.11.1 is the latest LTS version. So we'll use that one. NVM install v20.11.1. Cool. If I say node hyphen version now, you can see the version is 20.11.1, which is good for us to use. This seems to be good. I'll update this to the proper version in GitHub. Now we want to install Apache 2. This is the web server we are going to use, and this is what it's going to serve the static content to us. Cool. Now I'll check the status of this Apache 2. So Apache 2 is in running state, which means if I say curl localhost, I got some response back. But this is a like I think default Apache page. Okay, but we got some response, which means the server is running fine. This looks good now. Now what we have to do is we have to I'll share the GitHub repository of this blog. So if you are keen in understanding like how I set up this one, I forked a repository called Tailwind landing page. So there is a open source repository here. So I forked this repository and then I added some commits on top of it, so that like it will look like a custom page. So if you see there is some custom things like it's having learn AWS in 30 days, and then it's a YouTube course, and then we have our own assets. This is coming because I added few commits on top of this. So here, instead of using SSH protocol, we'll use HTTPS, and then we'll clone the repository. This is a public repository, so we can clone without any keys. I'll say git clone. Yeah, and then I'll go into this folder. So now we have all the source code with us. What we'll do is, this is where the CI/CD setup is going to start. I'll say npm install. This is install all the packages for us. Packages in the sense the libraries needed for this web server, like web application to work. Basically Tailwind and all those things. And then I'll say npm run build. So this will do the building the static assets step. So if you remember from our previous CI/CD diagram, like this is a build step. And what I want to do is copy these two files, these three files actually. You can see there is a poster.png also. So I'm going to say copy index.html, styles.css, poster.png to var www.html. Uh, styles, oh, style.css. Okay, cool. So now we got the things deployed into our Apache. So I'm consciously using the term deploy build because you should just get awareness about all these things. So we got all the static assets into our server, like the path where the files are served by the server. So if I do curl localhost, we can see it is our own page. How I'm saying is like there is some flow byte reference, which is the like the package they are using. So this looks cool, but I can't access it from the outside world because this particular EC2 instance doesn't have public IP address. Okay, so this is going to be our next step. Like we are going to set up a load balancer, and we are going to allow access from outside world. So go to yeah. Before going to load balancer, I just want to show you one more thing. Like if I go into this web server security group, you can see there is only one rule here, which is SSH allowed from the security group. But we want to have one more rule, which is okay, maybe like yeah, I think I'll come back here. I want to allow the AT traffic, HTTP traffic from load balancer. So for that, I should have the load balancer. So I'll create a load balancer and we'll come back here. So I'll go to load balancers. I'll create a new load balancer. This is going to be application load balancer. And the name of this load balancer is learn AWS blog. This is going to be internet facing. This is going to be part of our VPC which we created now. We want to have it in public subnets. And we are going to create our own security group for this. So the group name is learn AWS-ST. LB-ST, load balancer security group. Load balancer C. This is part of VPC, learn AWS blog VPC. And the inbound rule is going to be, it's going to allow HTTP traffic and from anywhere. So this is going to be the rule. We'll say, yeah, this rule is good. And then I'm just going to create this security group. Cool. So now I'm going to use the security group here. I'll just do a refresh. I'll cancel this and use learn AWS LB security group. Okay. So as a first step, I'll route the traffic to port 80, or maybe like if you want to have a detailed explanation of like having a port 80 and then converting it into 443 like the HTTPS, you can watch the yesterday's video about Route 53 and load balances. But today, maybe for the due to the time constraint, I'll directly create the necessary stuff so that like we'll have all the security related aspects also. So what I'll do is, if we have something like port 80, if something comes to port 80, yeah, maybe I'll create a target group. It's going to have set of instances. The port is going to be HTTP. So I'll say learn AWS target group. 80, IPv4, all these things are fine. VPC is fine. Health check, I'll make sure like it's a very simple health check. Number of consecutive threshold is 2. Timeout is 2. Interval for everything is 5. Success code is 200. So this is a health check. And we are going to use this machine, learn AWS in 30 days blog. It will be routing traffic to this port 80. So I'll allow it here. And then I'll create the target group. Okay. So now we have one target registered, but we want to make sure like this target will target group is attached to the load balancer. So I'll come here to the load balancer. I'll do a refresh, and then I'll select the target group as this. I'll have all the other things as it is. Summary is it's internet facing IPv4. Security group is this. It belongs to two subnet and it has 80 as a port. But for this to work, we need to add the security group in the in our EC2 instance. So if I go to EC2 instance, this is where we were going to set up these things. I'll delete this rule. I'll add a rule. I'll say allow HTTP traffic from the security group, which is named as Learn AWS LB security group. So I'm just allowing the HTTP traffic only from the load balancer. So outside world is not allowed to send HTTP traffic. Okay. If I go to business and rules, if I go to this target group, I should see it should be in a healthy state soon. Okay, so this is so far it's creating. In the meantime, we'll configure few other things also. For example, to have the HTTPS certificate, we need to have Certificate Manager. So I'm going to create one more certificate. This is going to be learn aws.superstats.code. So I'm going to use DNS validation. I'll request a certificate. Again, like if you couldn't understand any of this concept, we discussed this detail in yesterday's video. So you can go and check that one. Yeah, for this to validate properly, I'll just copy these two CNAMEs. This is the place where I'm maintaining all my records. This is a hosted zone. So I'll create a record here, which will say for this is a value, and this is a CNAME record, and have the TTL as 60 seconds. Cool. Okay, see, it's already there. Okay. Okay, because I've already created this, so for demo blog, so it's already there. But this is what you have to create. Once you create this, you can see like the certificate is issued. So we have the domain, and we have mapped it to Route 53 also. Now we have to map this domain in our load balancer. That is a pending step. We'll see if the load balancer is done. So load balancer is active. What this means is we should be able to copy this DNS, and what I'll do is I'll go here and I'll say HTTP because we haven't configured the HTTPS still now. Cool. So you can see our site is ready and site is up with all the information. Okay, but the only problem is it's not secure. So we are going to make it as a secure connection. So I'll come here. If you remember, like we already discussed in the yesterday session. So we'll add one more listener. This listener is going to be HTTPS listener, and this is going to have forwarded to a target group, learn AWS TG for all the requests. So all requests are going to get forwarded here, and we are going to use a certificate. The name is Learn AWS Superstats. This is a certificate which we want to use, and that's it. So it's trying to reach 443, but 443 is not available. If you see the error message, you can see the security group for load balancer doesn't allow traffic. So if I go to security group, if I go to this load balancer security group, we allow only 80 traffic. So we are going to add one more rule, which is like a HTTPS allowed from anywhere. Cool. So this is done. If I come to the load balancers, learn AWS blog, you can see this error is not there. So this looks good. So if we go and check the HTTPS of this version, for example, HTTPS // I'll remove the HTTP from here. If I hit this, so it's saying like still the certificate is not valid because the domain which we configured is a slightly a different one. So, but I'll say still go and proceed. So we could able to access it, but The domain is not this. If you remember, the domain is learnaws.superstats.co. So what I'll do is I'll go to Route 53 where I've configured the superstats hosted zone. I'll create one more record which will say learn aws.superstats.co should have a CNAME, and the value of this CNAME should be this DNS entry. So it should point to this, and I'll have 60 seconds as a time limit, TTL time. So learn aws.superstats.co. If I want to go and check it here again, go to Certificate Manager, learn aws.superstats.co. Cool. So I'll create this record. So Route 53 knows where to forward the traffic in case it gets the domain called as learnaws.superstats.co. Now what I'll do is, instead of using this, I'll say https learn aws.superstats.co. Cool. So now we can see the site is looking good. So the certificate is also like secure. The certificate is also correct, and the connection is secure, and we could able to access it using the Learn AWS subdomain. But there is like one piece which is missing here. For example, if I go to http://learn AWS superstats.co, this is serving the traffic, but you can see it's not serving in the proper way because it's a HTTP request. So what we have to do is, whenever we get some request as HTTP, we should do a redirection to HTTPS. So that's what we are going to do now. So I'll go to Load Balancer. I'll go to the rules here. So in this case, 80 is getting forwarded to the target group, 80 port. But I'll go here. Instead of this, I'll say edit rule. So instead of forwarding target group, I'll forward it to the redirect to the URL, and I'm going to say redirect to HTTPS protocol, and that's it. So if I do this, port number is 443 for HTTPS. If I do this, then if I go and see the listeners, this 80 will just redirect to whatever host which we have, :443 port and path, but the beauty is it's going to have HTTPS, which means it will redirect to this one, and this one will forward the traffic to the corresponding target group. So this is what's going to happen. So for example, here we have not secure, right? So I'll copy this domain again. I'll say, if you see, I'm hitting the HTTP endpoint. If I hit this, you can see it automatically converted to HTTPS because there is a redirection which is happening, and that's what it's doing. So maybe like I think I can show you this. If I go to network tab, all request, http://learn aws.superstats.co. If I do this, you can see there is a redirect 301 redirect request, and this one will have a redirection location to https://learn aws. So this is how the load balancer is responding with HTTPS, and we could be able to get back the result. Yeah, so I just quickly want to show one more thing, which is the CACD part which we mentioned. So let's say for example, I just want to say add a message to this one. Let's say like keep learning. So I'll go into the connection is out. Maybe like this is a quick tip. If you press tilde dot, you can come out of this the stale connection. So I'll SSH into the Bastion host, sudo su history. Okay, there is no history. SSH-i. I'm going to use temp file, prasanna.pem key, ubuntu @ the EC2 instance name is IP address is this sudo su. We have demo blog AWS. So I'm going to make a change here. So index.html. Let's say I'll change something like learn AWS in 30 days. Happy learning. Okay. So which means there is a code change happened here. Okay. So if we have a code change, then it has to go via the whole deployment cycle. In later videos, this is what we are going to automate. So whenever that's a code change, it's going to automatically build the static assets. It's automatically going to do the deployment. But in our case, we are going to do it manually, which means we are going to say npm run build, and then we are going to say copy index.html, copy style.css, copy poster.png to var www/html. So the deployment it's also happened. Okay. So if I go here, if I refresh this page, you can see learn AWS in 30 days, happy learning. This is a version 2 which we deployed. Okay, I think like we are done with the demo part. Hopefully, like things should be like very clear now. If you have any questions or doubt, yeah, again, like please let me know in the comment. I'll definitely respond to those comments. And if you want to understand these concepts in an in-depth way, please watch the previous videos. So this is just a quick summary of whatever we discussed for the past 5 days. Okay, cool. Yeah, bye bye now. Happy learning.